As you recall, people actually excavated small little island farms called champagnes, which were really around the great city itself. But it is representative of a stone kind of architecture, one that would link to centralized sedentary cultivators because of its permanence in the materials that would be there. No need to move on further. In Nigeria, the first of the peoples of Africa that we're looking at, from the center of Ife, bronze heads cast in the lost wax process I explained to you last time, representing the Onis, collectively male and female. Pretty easy to identify in this slide. The one to the far left is a young man, probably a prince rather than the royal Oni. On the top of it, the phallic symbol represents masculinity. To the far right is consort. To your particular far right is feminine. It was the female part of it, the idea, and also a masterful, realistic carving in the center of it. Number two, not only were the Ife incredibly understanding of the complex process of casting in bronze, they cast only heads, they cast figures. In this particular case, we know it's the Oni of Ife, by the horn that he holds in his hand, which is linked to the importance of metallurgy. In the center of it, the royal medallion, like the keys of St. Peter, identify who he is. The broken hand to the far right really represents the idea of multiple casting. As I talked with you last time, it's not uncommon for hands and feet to be cast separately and joined together. It was done in antiquity, it was done by the Greeks and Romans, in this particular case done by the Africans as well. A startlingly realistic image, which you know is an anomaly. Most African sculpture does not embrace the apple, it embraces the taste of the apple. Number three, an example of a terracotta head. While we know the bronze heads were displayed on mannequins, you remember the wooden carvings I showed you last time, terracotta heads, heads made of clay, would have been display pieces set up on shrines, not altars, but elevated platforms that would be considered shrines. Like religious works of art that might be displayed on altars in churches, many terracotta heads and other objects would be put for ritual display, if I can use that term, for veneration as well. We've seen animals, how they've been integrated all through this particular course, whether it's snakes among the Aztec, among the Inuit people, it's been polar bears, it's been seals, etc., etc. This is an example of a walrus, or excuse me, a hippopotamus, not a walrus, certainly. If you look carefully at it, you can see the small tusks in the front, but it must have been a royal animal, a classic totemic animal. Why? Because if you look carefully on it, you can see the royal diadem that appears on the top of the creature. You see it on the top? Remember that royal symbol appeared in royal Ife bronze castings as well. So totemic animals, along with the realistic heads, would also have been placed on displays in the shrines as well. Tomorrow, what I would be doing is